YouTube? How you feeling? How you living? What's good? It's your girl Francine. Today is Friday, which means it's another edition of Girl, I'm finna take your black card. A segment in which I review things in black culture that I have not experienced as a black woman. Now, this fit was not intended. This video was already recorded. I recorded this video a day ago, and now I have to re-record it because I am now recording on my phone, if you can't tell by the crappy quality, and I did not know how to use my new mic with my phone, and it had no audio. So now I have to re-record everything all over again. Yay! So I decided, you know what, I'm gonna dress up. This is a Halloween video. I put me on like a little cheetah. Now I'm a cheetah girl, okay? I got the wig. I'm a cheetah girl, cheetah sister. Cheetah girls, cheetah sisters. Okay, I just watched it on Disney Plus, and now I'm in that kind of mood. So this is what you're getting today. With that being said, today let's talk about the movie we are reviewing because, girl.
No.
I don't know what I watched. So I decided, you know, it's Halloween and Halloween's coming up. It's October, spooky season, and I decided to watch a horror movie. Now, I was like, let me watch the first black horror movie. That is perfect. I talk about things in black culture. Let me watch that. And now, I watched the movie Blacula. If you've never heard of it, it is a blaxploitation film. Now, I've never seen a blaxploitation film before, so I decided, you know, I've heard about them. I heard that, like, you know, back in the day in the 70s, you know, they had these like real black and proud video movies and all that good stuff. And that's not what I got from this movie. I didn't even get a horror movie from this movie. You know what? I'm going too fast. I'm talking too fast. We're going ahead of ourselves. We have not even talked about the plot of the movie. So let's get into that question mark, because is there a plot? So, two things I gotta tell you about this movie before we even start into it. Number one, like I said, I don't think there's an actual plot to this movie. And number two, for a horror movie, it's not scary. So if you're trying to watch this movie in the future, it's essentially watching a bad movie for a good laugh. So if you're looking for that, perfect movie, because I laughed a lot more than I was scared, which was 0. Okay? So this movie starts off in Transylvania. It starts off in Transylvania, and we see Dracula, you know, the very prominent vampire of lore, I guess. We see Dracula, and he's with a African prince. Now, I'm gonna let you know this right now. I did not remember anybody's name in this movie. So if you're looking for me to tell you names, even though I never do, so if you're looking for me to tell you names, I don't know them, okay? Just so you know. But there's an African prince, and he's there with his wife, who, you know, they're talking to Dracula, and apparently he's a dignitary. I never remember learning about that about Dracula, but we didn't really have lessons in Dracula history, so maybe he was. I don't even actually think he was a real person. You know what? I'm just making up stuff. Anyway, so they're talking, and he's asking the Count Dracula to end slavery. That's what he's there for. He's proposing that they end slavery because this is in 1700, so it's still going on and strong for a lot longer.
To totally cease the slave trade? I find that unrealistic. Slavery has merit, I believe.
Merit? You find merit in barbarity?
Barbarous from the standpoint of the slave, perhaps.
Anyway, so we get, and Dracula's like, no, I don't want to end slavery. Slavery's actually pretty good for us. I mean, if you ask the slave, he might say it's crap, but we think it's great. Us white people think slavery is just grand, okay? What are you talking about? So, you know, of course, he gets angry about that because, hello. And Dracula starts talking about how his wife looks delicious and she should feel complimented because she's saying that a black woman's delicious. And I'm like, sir, you must have never met many black women because they are hella delicious. But he's talking about her blood, like she was delicious, but they don't know that yet. So, you know, the African prince, he starts getting very angry, and they start to fight. And, you know, Dracula has his henchmen come in, and he's like, oh, we are fighting. And it's the worst fighting ever. Like, the worst. If you've ever watched the Batman show from the 60s with Adam West, it gives me that tease. It gives me like, bam, pow. Like, It was horrible, okay? But that's not the point. The point is they subdue the African prince. I'm just gonna keep calling him the African prince until he becomes Blacula, because spoiler alert, that's who becomes Blacula. So he gets subdued, and Dracula bites him, because we know he's a vampire. They didn't know that. He bites him and he puts him in a coffin, and he takes his wife with him. And you're probably wondering, wasn't his wife there this whole time? Yeah, she was there. She just was doing absolutely nothing. So, in case you were wondering where she was just sitting there letting him get beat up. So that's how they work. So then Dracula puts the African prince in a coffin and says, you're gonna turn into a fiend and a monster and yada yada yada. And I'm just like, this is the most drawn out monologue ever. Just get to the point of the movie. So we cut to present day Transylvania, which technically is 1970 because this came out in like 72. So we cut to 1972 Transylvania. We see a interracial gay couple. So I was like, ooh, progression in the 70s. No. And I'm gonna tell you why in a second. Because I was so excited. I was like, oh, an interracial gay couple in a black movie? We ain't even doing that now. But no, it doesn't stay. And like I said, you won't know why. Anyway, so they are in Transylvania and they're in Dracula's house. Now, another thing I will say is that there is no establishing shots in any of this movie. We just cut to them in this house talking to this white man who they're like, oh yeah, we're gonna buy this and we're gonna buy that. And I thought they were buying the house, but no, they were just buying the stuff in the house. Now, I didn't get that from the scene, but I do get that because we then cut to Los Angeles. So I'm like, we were just in Transylvania. How the hell did we end up in Los Angeles? Well, they were buying the stuff in Dracula's house to take with them to Los Angeles for their new little pad they got together as a couple, right? And so they're opening everything in the storage unit in which they got everything in so they can know where to put everything in their house. And they apparently bought this coffin, and the black guy opens the coffin and the white guy is on the side. He cuts his arm open, and you can kind of see where this is going.
Mommy!
Blacula wakes up out the coffin, sees him bleeding, bites them both. Horrible like graphics of how that was happening. Worse than the fighting, honestly, because he was looking like he was biting him, but for real, I thought he was about to kiss him. It's like, wow, this is really progressive. But no, he bites him and then he goes off into wherever, right? So we cut to the funeral for the black guy, not the white guy, the black guy. And then another thing that did not get established, we see 3 people come in, and I'm like, oh, his family is coming to view the body. No, apparently one of these people are a doctor, and we later find out that the other 2 work for him in the police department. Never did this come up in the scene. I had no idea who the hell these people were. I just assumed they were family until they said we're going to see the family, and then I was like, ooh. Anyway, the doctor's in there. He's talking to the Undertaker, and he says, this guy looks kind of, he doesn't look, because originally they thought he got bit by a rat, and that's why he died, because he has 2 bite marks on his neck, like vampires. And so he's like, he don't look like he got bit by a rat. He seems like he's been pretty drained to be bitten by a rat. I don't think so. And the Undertaker's like, well, I don't know what you want me to say. That's the only thing that makes sense, my guy. What you want me to say? Like, we don't believe in vampires around here. That's not what he said, but that's how I would say it if I was him. But then we get the funniest scene in this whole movie. The only reason why this movie was worth watching, because the doctor walks of the Undertaker's area, and the Undertaker just starts exclaiming, and I'm gonna put the clip here, and I have to censor it because I'm gonna add the clip.
Okay, so I could not find this clip, and I also tried to record it on my computer, and I'm not really great at that technology yet. So what he says is essentially, that is the rudest N-word I've ever seen. And it was really funny, and I really want to put that clip in here, but I'm trying to get better at this, but the last stretch, I'm trying to get everything done. It's like 11 o'clock. Please give me some grace.
So while they were at the doctor and his two assistants, right, were at the Undertaker's office, Blacula was there for whatever reason. I don't know. And one of the women who was there with the doctor looked like his wife. The one who, I didn't even mention it because she was so non-relevant to the scene. She apparently got locked into that tomb with him. And we don't really know what the hell happened to her. She just, I guess, died. Because it was like a 300-year difference. So I'm assuming she died. But he sees this woman who looks like his wife. And he just decides to follow her through the street at night. Because that's how you introduce yourself to a woman, apparently. So he follows this woman and she starts running because obviously this random man is following you in the middle of the night. Like, what the hell? She apparently drops her bag and she starts running. And so Blacula loses her because he gets hit by a cab. And the lady who's in the cab is like, hey, yo, like, get the heck out the street. Like, what is you doing? And he was like, oh my God, you made me lose her. Like, he was so angry. And so, because he's a vampire, he bites his lady, right? And she becomes a vampire. Well, actually, we don't know that yet. But obviously. Because she, dies and there's that. And then the girl goes back home and she's very scared. She's like, oh my God, this guy was chasing me to her sister, because that's her sister, It's just so confusing. It is so confusing. But the lady who was also with her at the funeral home is technically her sister. So the doctor from the Undertaker goes to the police department and he goes to the morgue and he gets word that there's another woman who has a strange bite on her neck, and he sees her and he notices it's the same bite the black guy had, which was the cab driver from before. And so he's kind of just trying to put two and two together, figure out what the heck is going on, because things seem a little fishy. And then this is where we get to the part in which I thought this was a progressive movie, and it's not, because the doctor goes to see the police officer, the police chief, I'm assuming, talking about the case of the two gay guys who got bitten, and he was kind of just like, I don't think this case looks like what it is. Give me the records to the case. And they keep dropping F-bombs. Not the one that is in a K, the one that is in a T, okay? I'm not saying that word, not just because I would get demonetized and probably have my video taken down, but because I don't say that word, so. But yeah, I was like, I was hoping this was a progressive movie, but no, it's not. But it's 1970s. Actually, no, I'm not gonna say it's 1970s. Just don't say that word, like, for real. But yeah, so that was when I was just like, I want to turn this movie off, but I've already just dedicated to watching this, and technically I watched it yesterday so that I can watch it for the video I was recording last night, but so then we cut to the club, right? We at the club, right? And they got this band and they just cutting up. And I will say one thing, the music in this, I was like, yes. Right? I was feeling the music. That was about it. The rest of the movie could go. But it was some good funk, And so they're at the club and Blacula shows up to the club to give old girl her purse back. Because I said she dropped her purse, he picked it up. Now, this man just chased you throughout the street at night. You came home scared, just very scared. Somehow, this woman is now in love with this man. She's like, oh, his name is Mama Wabi, I think, or Mama Wally. Not sure. It sounded like that, but it sounded like that, like Mama Wabi. I do remember that part because she kept going, oh, Mama Wabi, oh. She was in love with this man for some reason. He said, they just met up at the club, and at the club, the doctor gets a phone call from the police department telling him the black guy went missing. He ain't no longer at the Undertaker no more. We don't know where he went. And he like, that's strange. He had bites on his neck, and we can't find him. And he was supposed to be dead. So apparently, the doctor's wife, who was also one of the women who was with him at the Undertaker, like I said, look, we just found out that that's his wife in the scene, and apparently it's her birthday, right? And they're taking pictures, and there's this woman who's there taking pictures for them, and Blacula, now as Blacula, is there, and she's taking pictures of everybody. He like, oh my God, don't take pictures of me. And everyone's like, what the hell? And so he leaves, right? So the girl who's taking pictures at the club, we cut to her house, and she's developing the pictures, and she's like, what happened to that guy that was in this picture? He's not in any of the pictures. And then I remember, oh yeah, vampires don't show up in pictures or in mirrors. I forgot about that. I don't remember last time I watched a vampire movie, so yeah, I totally forgot about that. But she was like, that's weird. And at that time, we see Blacula is in her house and is going to try to kill her. And I'm like, how the hell he know this lady's address? Did he follow her? Because he left before she did, obviously, because he left at the time. And then I realized I don't need to be trying to make sense of this movie because it don't make no sense. So he kills her or bites her. And this is the one and only time that we see somebody immediately turn into a vampire because she's like tripping out her house like, oh my God. And this white cop comes to her and is like, are you okay? And she bites him because she's already a vampire. And I was like, nobody else changed that fast. Then I just kept remembering, we're not supposed to make sense of the movie. Yeah, we're not supposed to make sense of the movie. So now I'm just watching it to see how the hell this gonna end at this point because it don't make no sense. So then Blacula goes to the girl who looks like his wife's house and they getting all lovey-dovey and he tells her that he's a vampire pretty fast. Like he's like, yo, I'm a vampire and I want to make you a vampire. What's good? And she was like, no, I don't want to be a vampire, but I love you. And I was like, sis, you just met him. You just met him. Like, and then they start making out and I'm like, what? The man ain't that good looking. Like, what is it that is getting you so riled up for the Blacula P? Like, I'm just trying to figure out. Because then they get in bed with each other and I'm like, again, I'm trying to make sense of this movie and it don't make no sense. So we cut to the doctor. The doctor and his wife have gone to dig up the white guy because they're like, if the black guy is up and running, then the white guy might be up and running too. So they go dig up his body and he is a vampire. He tries to bite the doctor and he stakes him in the heart and he dies. So they're like, oh my God, they're all vampires. And his wife is like, vampires? Like what? And he was like, no, they're vampires. He's a vampire. I just stabbed him. And she was like, oh my God. And they went to go tell the officer, the chief, who is the one over these cases. And he was like, no, he's not gonna believe me if I just tell him they're vampires. So I had to take him to see the cab lady because she had the same bites on her neck, right? So he tells the guy at the morgue to take the cab lady out of the, I guess, the ice area where they like freeze people's bodies before they take them to the Undertaker, which has been a while. So why is she still there? But again, making sense of the movie that is making sense. I know. So he gets the cop, they go to the morgue. And he told the morgue guy, take her out, let her defrost, and lock the door. He does not lock the door. And he gets bitten by a vampire. The cab lady. So they get there after this happens. They see blood everywhere. They're like, oh my God, it's crazy. And then they get into the actual morgue area. And then the lady, apparently, after she bit the morgue guy, gets back under the cover she was in and scares him. And he has a cross and he's like, oh, and she is like, oh my God. And they just let her lay there because they assume that the sunlight is going to kill her. But like, you could have just killed her right there. Because, spoiler alert, she comes up again in this movie. Like, just kill her. Again, I'm trying to make sense of this movie. It don't make no sense. Thank you. Yeah, we know we don't make no sense. Thank you. So the guy is like, the doctor's like, okay, these are all vampires. We've gotten it. We got to figure out who's making all these people vampires. And he was like, you know, that guy that's been hanging around my wife's sister is kind of strange. Maybe he might be a vampire. Maybe. I don't know. So they goes to the club and Blacula shows up. Now I don't know if he told him to show up or what happened. I think he was with the girl actually, so that's probably why he shows up. Again, I said no and I still don't know. Anyway, so they get to the club and you know the doctor's talking to him about, you know, do you believe in vampires? Do you believe in the dark arts? Do you believe in things like that? And then you know Blacula's like, yeah, I do. And then they're at the same club they were at the night before and they realize that the girl who's taking pictures is missing. So the doctor goes to her house. Again, I'm like, how do you know where this woman lives? How did you get into her house? But again,
I'm trying to make sense of this movie.
I know, it doesn't make sense. I know. I'm aware, but I still keep doing it. Anyway, so they get to her house and they look at the photos that she has from the night before because apparently those haven't gotten destroyed or like he just killed her and left them there. I guess he wouldn't think that nobody would find them. No, but he sees that, you know, Blacula's not in any of these pictures. He's like, yeah, it's him. He's a vampire. He's a vampire. And then we start getting into the conclusion, the climax of the movie. And I say that very lightly because, again, this movie was not scary, nor was it really interesting. It was just stupid. Okay, like I was hoping that this would bring like some excitement to the movie. No, we then cut to the black guy that went missing, right, from the Undertaker. He is now walking throughout the city, and they're like, ain't he supposed to be dead? Like the cops are seeing him, and they're like, ain't he supposed to be dead? And they was like, oh my God, don't shoot him. Just follow him to where he's going and let us know where that is. So the cops and the doctor follow the cops that see the black guy to where he was going, which was the warehouse in which they had their stuff before. So he just went right back to where he died at. Okay, and they get there, and then they see a bunch of different vampires. They see the cab lady, they see the black guy, they see the cop that the girl who took the pictures bit. They also see her. They see everybody there, and they are trying to shoot vampires. And I'm like, you got silver bullets? Because that's the only way that's gonna work. So then they just throw fire at them, and apparently that kills them. Apparently that's another way to kill vampires, is to set them on fire. So now you know, just in case you come in contact with the vampire. So then Blacula shows up at this warehouse. I guess he was trying to go back to his old coffin that he was at before. And he's like, yeah, I'm a vampire. And what? And he turns into a bat, which I needed to laugh. I needed it because it was horrible. I'm putting it over when yeah, it was horrible. But yeah, so he turns into a bat, flies away. Ooh. So then they go see, you know, the girl he been hooking up with, because they like, okay, we need her to help us find him so that we can get him and kill him, right? So the doctor and his wife, they go see her, and they're like, come on, help us out. And she's like, no, I love him. And I'm like, sis, you just met him. You just met him. He stalks you in the middle of the night, and now you just craving him now. I don't understand. I mean, look, I've never been with a vampire, but apparently they got you going this crazy. So I don't want to be, okay? Because sis was not trying to help. Eventually she was like, okay, fine. I guess I'll help you guys. And they take her to his location to kind of lure him in, until apparently Dracula starts talking to her via telepathy. And I'm like, we didn't know this was a thing until now, but apparently it is. And then again, I just realized I'm trying to make sense of this movie. And we already established that's a waste of time. So then she gets taken away on telepathy, and she starts walking towards this underground bunker in which Dracula's in. He's like, we gotta escape. They want to kill me. And she's like, baby, I love you. And then the cops see them, and the cops start shooting at Dracula, which obviously he's not going to die, but they end up shooting the girl, right? And she's dying. And he's like, oh my God, I gotta change you into a vampire now. Like, I know you didn't want me to, but now I gotta do it. And she was like, okay, fine. So he changes her into a vampire. Okay. Then the doctor and the chief and his wife, they all end up there, and they're trying to find Dracula. I mean, not Dracula. See, this is so exhausting. They're trying to find Blacula. And, you know, they get to this crossroad where there is a coffin, and they think it's him. And for some reason, the girl is in this coffin, and the doctor ends up accidentally killing her. And so Blacula's like, my love, my heart, I don't want to live without her. So he just kills himself by going up into the sunlight and withering away in one of the worst CGI deaths I've ever seen. Ever. And that was it. Now you tell me what the point of this movie was, because I don't know. I don't know. And I sat through an hour and 37 minutes of it, and I had so many other movies I could watch. I had so many other black horror movies I could watch. I could have watched Candyman, one of my favorite movies. I could have watched plenty of other black horror movies, you know, that I've never seen or that I have seen, or just any other movie in general. But I decided to watch this, and now you have to watch me talk about it. So, well, you don't have to, but thank you for watching me talk about it, because honestly, I would have tapped out by now, because I'm doing it and I'm tapping out. So, with that being said, yeah, that is my review of Blacula. It is a horrible movie, and if you like watching bad movies, this is a great movie, because there's so much wrong with it. So that's what you want to do. It is free on Amazon Prime. Check it out. With that being said, I will rate this movie like I do every other movie. I gotta give it a 3. The acting wasn't great. I did not know what the hell was going on at the time, but that music was fire though. So that's where we're getting a 3 from. With that being said, if you like this video, hit the like button. If you have any comments, questions, or concerns, put them in the comment section below. And if you haven't subscribed already, hit the subscribe button. I appreciate you. And now I'm going to have to record the Saturday video that I recorded yesterday too. And you get to see that tomorrow. And hopefully I'm not tired because it is 6:30 on Thursday night and I have to edit and upload these videos. So, yay. I'll see you tomorrow though. Bye.